Hey folks, time to take you through a quick demo of Foley Moley. I might have said Feather Funk, sorry, I think I meant to say Foley Moley. This is interesting how it forces me to start my stream with the live stream interface up. Minimize. Okay, so this is my Foley Moley mix. I did this in like a virtual 3D sound thing on SoundCloud, but I want to take you through the dry mix, which I'm starting to think actually sounds a little better. Let me just make sure that this is working. Mixer, hello, yes. Goody gumdrops. Minimize that shit. Okay, so this is really just a whole bunch of recordings that I've made using a Rode NT1A. And then I've just I had a lot of fun just putting them out in Ableton Live. So some of the sounds we've got here is a Pikachu doll, which I've since actually lost, so unfortunately I won't be able to include him in a video. That's what that is. Shaker, I don't know what this is, probably some kind of seasoning, like oregano or something. That's the zoom server of my Nikon camera, which I don't use anymore. I've since upgraded to a Canon. Obviously I've cut it short. That's a deodorant can. That's a fly screen door. We have a lot of these in Australia. Servo motor. What's that? Oh, that's an iCybe toy. That's what that is. Some of you may remember iCybe, the crappy robot dog that came out that everyone thought would be the next Aibo, but it wasn't even half of what Aibo was. The 5D Mark II shutter. Very simple. I have got a... I thought I had a reverb on there somewhere. What the hell's going on? Have I got a reverb on my master? I've got a reverb on my master. I don't know if that's a good thing. Well, I've got everything going through a saturator and through a compressor, which is very risky. I don't know why I've done it that way. Driving a whole mix through a compressor, that is... not such good practice, but anyway. And I've just cut this deodorant up because I really like the effect. Okay, now here's a little breakdown section. There's a story behind this sound. You can see I've cut out a certain frequency that was a bit shrill, and I've pulled out the bottom end. This is actually what happens when you put my music box recording through a piece of software called Granulator, which is a plugin for Ableton Live. And the reason I did it was to serve as a kind of harmonic reinforcement for the actual music box, which also comes into the track. And I've retimed this as well. It doesn't sound perfect, but when you mix it in with all this other shit, it really isn't a problem. So you can hear that with the granulated version. Let me turn that bloody metronome off. Okay, and then into that break section, what else have I done? There's not a lot going on there, really. Just scissors, obviously. And then I've started doing some drums. Now, these drums are actually built using like just thuds and doors. Now, I spent a lot of time EQing these sounds because obviously when you record, you know, a fist banging against a door, it's not ready for mixing straight away. You need to really shape that sound, and I think I've done the same thing, not so much. But yeah, that kick drum was very difficult to get to come through the mix. And then I've got some more door knocking here. you add that with the scissors, gets a kind of shaker effect. Now my bass, what is my bass? Let's have a go. You can see I've EQ'd the balls out of this bass as well. I spent a lot of time trying to get this mix to sound good on a pair of studio monitors, and so this is what I came up with. Now, when I was taking you through Me Lerv Oo on my previous SoundCloud, I showed you that sample I pulled from The Simpsons, and that's what this is. And I slotted it in there, and I really like how it works. And this chord, what is this? That's more of that German opera singing from a vinyl I sampled. And I'm using some other chords here to reinforce the music box. If I pull the music box out, actually, you'll get to hear exactly what these are. The way I did these pads was I pulled in a granulator and I listened to this music box on its own. And I pulled in a granulator and I started granulating, I suppose, sounds that I could create backing chords or pads to go underneath this music box. And so eventually I arrived at some chords I found through an Enya track, and I used them to make these pads. So that's literally just me holding down 2 notes and then just scrubbing through in Granulator to change which parts of the choir section that I'm granulating from. What are these? I've used that sample in a lot. That sample is off of vinyl. I cannot for the life of me remember where it's from, but I have used that in Jam. I've used that in a lot. I think I used it in that, what's that track? Beautiful or something, or Procrastinate. I've used it in a lot of things. And then there's more chords, and then there's that, and then here's more granulated chords, I think. So you chuck all this together and you would never know what I've done. So then there I've just reversed that Simpsons chord. There's a lot of people that say, oh, it's not Pogo's best work, I don't really like this one. Well, fuck you, I don't make music for you. I liked how this came out. This is obviously more percussion. Now this is a section that I really want to build up more. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but I want to sort of take these chords or this melody and extend it somehow into this bit. I think there's potential there. This is, what is this? That's just me tapping on a lid. Just using it as a ride cymbal. I had a lot of fun with this, man. God, what is all that? There's pen clicking, there's a cardboard tube, there's shaking a hi-8 tape. Do you remember the hi-8 tapes from back in the day? That's what that is. But obviously, oh, thank you. That sounds great. These are, what is this? Yes, hi-hat tapes, but obviously I've had to quantize this so that it's more on beat. It's very easy to do that, by the way. If you're using FL Studio, I think you have to create a whole goddamn SliceX module, load this in there, slice each thing manually, and then manually draw each one out in the piano roll. Fun times. No, in Ableton Live, you just have to select all of them, and you literally just press Command-U. You can go Command-Shift-U, and you can tell it to quantize to a certain signature, and even to a certain amount, because you don't always want to have 100% quantization. Sometimes you want to leave some of the human feel behind. So there you go. Metal filing cabinet, tapping wooden pole. That's pretty self-explanatory. Quantized again. But I really want to... I like what I've done with the music box, and I would love to do something that's also musical like that, but in this section with all this percussion that extends out from these chords. That'd be a lot of fun. As for effects, I haven't done much really. I've just boosted the highs on that metal lid tapping because it was quite dull. I've pulled out a certain frequency here on this. I don't know why. Oh, it's for these chords, I think. Yeah, I was listening to that on my monitors, and there was a nasty resonant frequency there that I've pulled out, and so that fixed that problem. What's that? There's nothing on there, just pulling out the bottom end. Boosting the mids and the bottom end. What's that for? Oh, that's for the kick drum. I'm using a Spectrum there. I have to say, I don't like the Spectrum in Ableton Live. To me, it seems completely inaccurate. I don't know what it is. To me, it just doesn't seem to represent it properly. I prefer to use Gliss EQ, but unfortunately, I haven't managed to get a license for my Mac yet. So I do not like this Spectrum. I like having an accurate Spectrum that is actually within my EQ graph. So that shows me my immediate effects of the EQ within the EQ window. This Spectrum thing, I can actually just delete that. It's balls. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Ableton Live 9. Another thing I'd like to see is dual monitor support for Ableton Live. At the moment, to get between your timeline and your mixer, which you need to do very often, you have to tab. You can only be doing one thing at a time. You can use these controls, yeah, fair enough, but sometimes you get a much better idea of your levels this way when you're watching in a mixer view. And this is just a much better real estate for all of these controls. Inputs, input sources, input channels, monitors on and off, audio masters, sends, and that's not even everything. I think I can have track delays, and what the hell is that? Show height, crossfade. There you go. So there's no way you could get all of this information into that section there. I think you absolutely need your mixer on a separate display, and hopefully they'll give us dual monitor support in Ableton Live 9. That would be killer. Like I said, the other thing I would have liked is I'm hoping for in the next section is for them to figure out this bloody zoom thing. I don't care for it. I think that your scroll bar shouldn't just be a scroll bar. I think you should be able to hold down a hotkey and control this top magnifier using your scroll bar, because your scroll wheel. Because I don't like having... Sometimes this bar is incredibly small. For some reason it's bigger in this track. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've got more channels. But sometimes this bar is so tiny that, you know, especially with a Mac, when your cursor is so inaccurate, it's very difficult for me to actually click that bar. So I can do Shift plus, which is annoying because I have to reach out and get it. And then I have to release Shift and press minus to zoom back out. Yeah, I think they should be utilizing your scroll wheel there, to be honest. Where's my bass? Piano roll. I don't like this either. I don't like the way that these lines are virtually indistinguishable from one another. I think that the bar markers should be very distinct, and I think the half bar, the half beat and beat markers should also be distinct. At the moment they're not. They all look the same. So for me to go and draw something requires me to be actually looking at these numbers 2.4, 3, 3.2, 3.3, and using these numbers to pinpoint in my mind where I am drawing that note. Now, FL Studio does this a lot better. It's dark, so it's easier on the eyes, and the beat, half beat, and bar lines are much easier to make out. What else can I say about this? I don't like the way that notes always, when you create one, it always defaults to being that duration. In FL Studio, when you draw a note out, that becomes your default length. But as you can see in Ableton Live, it starts off as always the same length, which is quite annoying. Yeah, I like the fold option, which just gets rid of all the unused notes. I think that's great. I'm really digging that. But I don't know. I just don't feel this piano roll is really the best it could be. I would choose FL Studio's piano roll over this one any day. So there you go, folks. A bit of overview, a bit of ranting. That was an overview of my Foley Moley track. I don't know if I'm going to finish this one. Yeah, it's okay. I really like the music box thingy. I'm not really feeling the rest of it, in all honesty. But I would love to do a video for this at some point. I just need to find another Pikachu doll, because obviously I've lost the one that makes that sound. There you go, folks. Thanks very much for watching. I am to assume there's still not really any questions, so I won't bother answering any, because there aren't any in the first place. Thanks, folks. I'll be saving this stream to my on-demand list, and you'll be able to check it out whenever you can. Thanks a lot for watching.